Greetings, my fellow freedom lovers, stop and thinkers. This is LL3's newest podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful swampy mangroves of South Florida. And today's date, Friday, April 8th, 2016. Well. I know people on Facebook is making a big stink about Nicolas Cage and Vince Steele from Motley Crue got into a fight outside of a casino. Wow, that is so fascinating and a great distraction, my friends. So hopefully everyone that's listening to the show that know me well enough is just all a dog and pony show. In other words, bread and circuses. However, the truth of the matter is I'm going to be discussing a few areas actually pertaining to what's been happening in Yemen, and of course, the one's going on. It's like the 22nd anniversary, if I believe, of what happened in Rwanda, the genocide of Rwanda, 100-day genocide, and of course, Homeland Security and AT&T got a contract together. In addition, on a gun that looks like an iPhone, but it's just an example. I really gets me when I see that, and I see people post on stuff about the Democrats are the chosen one, the Republicans are evil, and vice versa. Will you please give me a break? When are you going to start doing your own homework? And instead of relying to a bunch of wannabe lobbyists and you be a bunch of bobbleheads go, yes, I am part of the Jim Jones syndrome. Everyone needs to start thinking for themselves more consistently. And of course, you got people peeling out. I'm along Fort Lauderdale, Florida, as usual, and it has cooled down a little bit. So it's not as scorching. It was warm a little bit earlier, but not as extreme. So I had to take my dog out for a walk, and he loved it. He goes, Daddy, I want to need another one real soon. So don't worry, it is going to happen. So let's just check this out here on one of the articles. Came from presstv.ir, which is a state-run station from Iran. And it says here, U.S. cluster bombs massacre Yemenis. Human Rights Watch says Saudi Arabia used U.S.-made cluster bombs in two recent airstrikes on a busy market in Yemen, which killed scores of civilians. The March 15th bombing targeting the northwest of Mastaba marked the second deadliest airstrike conducted by the Saudi campaign since it began its war in March 2015. The strike also wounded at least 47 people and left charred bodies lying next to flour sacks and twisted metals. Human Rights Watch said Thursday its investigators traveled to the town in Yemen, Haja province, the day after the attack and listed the name of 97 civilians killed in the strike, including 25 children. The team said another 10 bodies were burnt beyond recognition, bringing the total number of victims to 107. They found fragments of GBU-31 satellite-guided bombs, as well as its guidance equipment supplied by the U.S., matching an earlier report by British television channel ITV. On the deadliest airstrikes against civilians in Yemen's year-long war involved U.S.-supplied weapons, illustrating tragically why countries should stop selling arms to Saudi Arabia. Parayanka Maraparthi, emergency researchers at HRW, said. Hopefully I pronounced that person's name correctly. The U.S. and other coalition allies have sent a clear message to Saudi Arabia that they want no part in unlawful killings of civilians, she said. Martyr Arpathy said even after dozens of airstrikes on markets, schools, hospitals, and residential neighborhoods have killed hundreds of Yemeni civilians, the coalition refuses to provide redress or change its practices. The U.S. and others should pull the plug on arms to the Saudis or further share responsibility for civilian lives lost. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry, who is a member of the Council of Foreign Relations, of course, visiting Bahrain on a trip to the region, declined to comment specifically on the report while speaking to reporters Thursday. If he were to say something that will piss off the New World Order, he can be taken out or be tarnished his reputation. I don't have any solid information, any documentation with respect to what weapon might have been used, Kerry said. Since March 26, 2015, Yemen has been under military attacks by Saudi Arabia with the declared aim of restoring power to former President Abdi Rabu Manar Hadi. Yeah, so they want a puppet leader, I would say. On Thursday, Kerry criticized Hadi for decisions in the last few hours. They have set back mediation efforts to secure a ceasefire in the Yemen war. The top American diplomat did not elaborate. The U.S. has backed the Saudi campaign in Yemen. In November, Washington approved a $1.29 billion rearming program for Rwanda, including thousands of similar bombs. Hooray for the military-industrial complex. Come on, everyone. God bless the New World Order. Imperialism is the only way. The Saudi campaign in Yemen has been increasingly criticized by human rights activists over civilian deaths. According to the UN, airstrikes account for 60% of the civilians killed in the conflict, which also have hit markets, clinics, and hospitals. Nearly 9,400 people, among them over 2,230 children, have been killed and over 16 others injured since the onset of the military raids. Yes, so I don't know what all those people who are like anti-Castro don't go around calling these bastards out of Saudi Arabia. Oh, but according to Marco Rubio and all these other people, they're our friends. You know what? This is really disturbing because it's just another part of the whole One World Order platform. And of course, we all know Saudi Arabia is in that same umbrella as well. This is a real, total, unacceptable form of democide. And these bastards need to be held responsible. And even people in the U.S. should, whoever is involved, needs to be brought up war crime charges as well. If we got to go after certain leaders for war crimes, why treat ours differently, including drone man Barack Obama himself, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm going to continue on hit this next article pertaining to that from the Intercept.com. It says U.S. bonds were used in Saudi-led attack on the market in Yemen, rights group finds. This is by Sharif Abdul Kudos. Okay. Skin Citadel Science, a company with an innovative line. Screw that. I will continue on here. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, hold on here. Sorry about that. Documents obtained by Intercept reveal that the firm has also attracted interest and funding from the In-Q-Tel, the venture capital arm of the Central Intelligence Agency. The previously undisclosed relationship with the CIA might come as some surprise to a visitor on the website of Clarista, the main product of the Skin Citadel Science, with boasts of a formula so you can feel the confident, beautiful skin, the most natural state. What the hell? Hold on here. It's all advertising. Let me see here. Ooh, forgive me that, my friends. Good grief, I hate these advertisings. You know, I try to put it on read, and that's all I get is garbage. Forgive me here. Okay, now I will start. In-Q-Tel, founded in 1999, then by CIA Director George Tenet, or Jorge Tenet, identifies cutting-edge technology to support the mission of the CIA and other intelligence agencies, and provides ventures funding to help grow tech firms to develop those solutions. Our company is an outlier. And for In-Q-Tel, Russ Leibowitz, the chief executive, Skin Citadel Science, said during an interview with the Intercept, he conceded what the relationship might make for an unusual, interesting story, but said if there's something beneath the surface, it is not part of the relationship. I'm not directly aware they're interested in something they can get easy access to a boiler maker. Boiler markers. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Now it makes sense here. So Leibowitz claimed he has limited knowledge of why In-Q-Tel selected his firm. I can't tell you how everyone works with In-Q-Tel, but they are very interested in doing things that are pure science. Leibowitz said the CIA funded approach in his company, telling him the funds and interest in looking at DNA extraction. And how come this has been... Wow. One moment here. This is like pretty bit cockeyed. Let's just find out here. Sorry about that. All right, now I'm back in business. Forgive me here, my friends. Omit all that. Now it says here, U.S. were used in Saudi-led attack on a market in Yemen. Rights groups find. Sharif Abdel Kudus. It came out actually yesterday. It says here, one of the deadliest airstrikes in Yemen since Saudi Arabia-led coalition began bombing the country with munitions supplied by the United States, according to a report by Human Rights Watch. The March 15th attacks targeted a crowded market in the village of Masaba in northern Yemen, killing at least 97 civilians, including 25 children. HRW said it's remnants of GBU satellite-guided bombs, which consist of a U.S.-supplied MK-84 2,000-pound bomb made it with the G-Day M satellite-guided guidance kit, also U.S. supplied. The group also said it also reviewed evidence provided by the British news channel ITV, which found remnants of the Mk-84 bomb paired with a paveway laser guidance kit. The report provides yet more evidence of U.S. complicity in the indiscriminate killings of the civilians in Yemen. The Obama administration has been a key military backer of Saudi Arabia in its year-long campaign against a rebel movement in Yemen known as Houthis. In addition to billions of dollars in arms sales, the Pentagon has provided the Saudi-led coalition with logistical intelligence reports. Human Rights Watch said the U.S. role may make it jointly responsible for war crimes. And yes, and how come all the Obama supporters are not going after their Lord and Savior? Because they're a bunch of damn hypocrites. Woo! The U.S. military has deployed, dedicated personnel to the Saudi Joint Planning and Operations Cell to help coordinate activities. The group's report said U.S. participation in specific military operations, such as providing advice on targeting decisions and aerial refueling during bombing raids, may make U.S. forces jointly responsible for law of war violations by coalition forces. As a party to the conflict, the U.S. is obligated to investigate allegedly unlawful attacks in which it took part. Since the conflict began in March 2015, more than 6,400 people have been killed, nearly half of them civilians, more than 30,000 injured. According to the United Nations, airstrikes have been responsible for the majority of civilian deaths. Saudi-led coalition has been accused of numerous violations, including the targeting of civilians and civilian infrastructure such as hospitals, schools, and factories. The U.S. and others should pull the plug on arms to the Saudis or further share responsibility for civilian lives lost, stated Pararanka Morvathi, emergencies at HRW. Bombing of the market in Mastaba last month was perhaps the deadliest attack of the entire war so far. Journalist Mohammed Ali Kadouf visited the site after it was bombed and interviewed a survivor who provided a heart-wrenching account to the Intercept. There were two big craters where the bomb hit, nearly full of ripped and charred bodies, and blood was everywhere. Survivors were in a frenzy. Rescues began to pile up the bodies while the wounded were rushed to hospitals. Thank God I survived unscathed. None of my family members were there at the time, but other families were blown up. 5 brothers who used to help Kahat sellers to make a living were all killed in their strikes. When their old father, Hassan Kashur, came to identify the bodies of his 5 sons, 4 of them could be hardly identified, while the other went unidentified. There were too many limbs and other parts of the bodies of those who were killed so that the families could barely identify their dead. Yeah, there's a photo of it too. It is not really very unattractive. So this is really, gets my goat because, like I said before, people they'll talk about their one country and they're buying, and they still want to support people like Saudi Arabia and this tyrannical coalition, one world order, new world order, whatever we want to call it, global tyranny, to be exact. This is just an example. It's unacceptable, and I censure it with a passion. And as far as I'm concerned, if the United States government don't want to stop, those bastards or contributors are considered conspirators to these war crimes. Doesn't matter if it's Barack Obama, James Carey, doesn't matter. It go across the board regardless of partisanship. It's completely condemning and unacceptable. We got to stop funding the Saudis because they like to use the American people like everyone else. They think the world should revolve around them. They're just an example. All right, just to make that clear. The government, the kingdom themselves. Like the world should revolve around them. You know what? They need to be brought to justice, regardless. And I'm going to play a little video clip. It's like 8 minutes long. And this is actually done by Sabal Edmonds from Boiling Frogs Post. And she was an agent, if I'm correct, an agent for CIA, if I'm correct. But we follow each other on Twitter. She's very good. I hear her a lot on the Corporate Report. She's a very articulate lady. She's American and Turkish descent, but very down to the point. And it's actually, I'm going to add this link on here. Is a YouTube link. It says Probable Cause with Sebel Edmonds, U.S. foreign aid and material support to state sponsors of terrorism. And I'm going to play it right now. and I'm going to kick back. So enjoy it. And I am going to add add the footnote in here as well. Like all the episodes, all the segments, I'm going to add the titles. All going to be footnotes on my Spreaker page. So check it out and pay attention and make sure you make your own judgment. So check this out, okay?
Hello everyone, this is Sibel Edmonds. In this episode, I'm going to talk about material support for terrorism and U.S. foreign aid as a means to provide financial, aka material support to terrorism. Specifically, I'm going to present ongoing U.S. foreign aid in billions of dollars sent to a nation recognized as a state sponsor of terrorism. The Anti-Terrorism and Effective Death Penalty Act of 1996 amended 18 U.S.C. 2339A and expanded its list of terrorist-type offenses. The statute aimed at reaching those persons who provide material support to terrorists, knowing that such support will be used to commit terrorism. The amended section removed the requirement that the supplier also have whatever specific intent the perpetrator of the actual terrorist act must have. In June 2010, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld the broad application of a federal law making it a crime to provide material support to foreign terrorists organizations, FTOs. Under this law, individuals face up to 15 years in prison for providing material support to FDOs, even if their work is intended to promote peaceful, lawful objectives. Well, this standard should cut both ways. That is, if we had a bit more application of justice and a tad less of hypocrisy. What do I mean by having this cut both ways? Terrorism is not limited to individuals, groups, organizations. It includes nation-states. A bunch of ego-driven scholars or a few anal-retentive political analysts may want to split hairs as to whether or not state-sponsored terrorism constitutes terrorism. But hey, since 2002, their elected presidents have been accusing nations of being terrorist nations or axis of evil, so for this, I'm going to go with that. State terrorism refers to acts of terrorism conducted by a state against a foreign state or people. Based on this definition, and based on what the puppet Supreme Court recently ruled on what constitutes material support to terrorism, our government, those who have sanctioned U.S. foreign aid to nations inflicting terror and violence, should be brought to trial. With that in mind, let's talk about Pakistan. Let's talk about Pakistan and state-sponsored terrorism, shall we? Within many circles in the United States, whether media, academic, or even governmental, Pakistan has been recognized and characterized as a state sponsoring terrorism for decades. Here is the U.S. Defense Secretary Leon Panetta on Pakistan's status as a state sponsoring terrorism. It's not only the United States. France has also publicly recognized Pakistan as a terrorist state. Same goes for Canada. Canada and its allies must take a united front against Pakistan because it is a state sponsor of terrorism that threatens world security, says Citizenship and Immigration Minister Chris Alexander. Alexander, a former ambassador to Afghanistan, said the fight against the Taliban and groups like Al-Qaeda will never be won in Afghanistan alone because it is a cross-border conflict supported by the Pakistan government. According to an analysis published by Brookings Institution, Pakistan is the world's most active sponsor of terrorist groups, aiding groups that pose a direct threat to the United States. Former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff of United States, Mike Mullen, described the terrorist Haqqani network as the veritable arm of Pakistan's ISI, that is, Pakistan's intelligence agency. Mullen said the country's main intelligence agency, ISI, was supporting the Haqqani network, who are blamed for an assault on the U.S. Embassy in Kabul in September 2011, and also the September 2011 NATO truck bombing, which injured 77 coalition soldiers and killed 5 Afghan civilians. Now, let's discuss billions of dollars given to Pakistan by the U.S. government via both military and economic aid packages. Here is the data up to 2011. In total, the United States obligated nearly $67 billion to Pakistan between 1951 and 2011. We have tripled our economic and development-related aid to Pakistan, $7.5 billion over 5 years. Yeah, that takes care of the specific financial support in billions of dollars provided by our government to a state sponsoring terrorism. But that's not all. According to our government, we provide not only billions of dollars, but all sorts of other material support to Pakistan. Expertise in energy, financial and investment expertise, technical expertise, military training, you name it. Okay, let me repeat again. Our government, using our tax dollars, is providing financial and other material support to Pakistan. Pakistan is a nation that has been recognized and is designated as a sponsor of terrorism. Thus, the U.S. government and those officials and civil servants involved with USAID should be held criminally liable and prosecuted for sustaining designated terrorists via providing financial and other material support to a state that sponsors those designated terrorists. Think about it, and then let me know what you think. Shouldn't those in our government who sanction and grant billions of your tax dollars to a state that sponsors terrorism be held criminally liable? Well, I don't know about you, but according to the United States Supreme Court, and based on United States federal laws, the answer should be a definitive yes. This is Sibel Edmonds. I'll be back with more soon.
Yeah, that was real nicely done by her. Got to give her a lot of credit because she knows exactly what she's talking about. This is why I always like to share this information to everyone out there, because many people may not know who Sibel Edmonds is. And I'd like to thank Corbett for actually bringing it to light on his show. So, and that's what we do, is share information to everyone out there, because we gotta really know what's happening. And all these little la garbage about Nicolas Cage and Vince Neil getting in the fight. As far as I'm concerned, I go to the toilet, I'll find that, take a dump in the toilet, wipe my behind is more interesting than that cesspool, okay? And all you fans out there don't like it, too bad, okay? That's just how I see things. There's a lot bigger things that's really happening. And we got to really just observe and pay attention to really what's going on, because if we're not, we'll be divided. We'll get caught with our pants down when least expect it. All right. So next one here is a real bone chiller. It's an anniversary. I think it's the 22nd anniversary of the Rwandan genocide. It says here facts about the mass slaughter between Hutus and Tutsis. I was really disturbed about this. This is by Morgan Runzer. There's been a battle. They've been the Hutus and Tutsis politically been battling for about 400 years. And a lot of the controversies has happened during that time. And so It's the 20. It'll be on the 22nd. It'll be this Thursday. This came out yesterday. Yeah, the 22nd anniversary. So there's an update on here. Um, and it said it came out yesterday by Morgan Rinzo. It says the White House issued a statement from President Barack Obama on Thursday, the 22nd anniversary of the beginning of the Rwandan genocide. On the anniversary date, Americans stand with the people of Rwanda to commemorate the more than 800,000 men, women, and children whose lives were lost during 100 days of unspeakable violence. They, even as the United States agrees with the Rwandan people, were inspired by the progress Rwanda has made in moving beyond these horrible crimes and the ability for a peaceful and prosperous future for its citizens. From President Obama, I'm a drone man. Bum, 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 bum. I will continue on. The original story, Rwanda's commemorated Thursday, the 22nd anniversary of the beginning of the 1994 genocide that exacerbated ethnic tensions and tore the African country apart. The 100-day massacre carried out from April 7th to mid-July was incited by a majority of Hutu-led government and left hundreds of thousands of people dead, mostly among the minority Tutsi population. Here are the 6 facts known about one of the worst genocidal mass slaughters ever recorded. 1. Historically, Hutus and Tutsi were distinguished by their clan and social class rather than by their ethnicity. Hutus were usually peasant farmers, while Tutsis were cattle owners. European colonialism fueled the divide, and Hutus were ultimately deemed the lesser ethnicity. With the help of Belgian colonizers, Tutsis forced Hutus to work, but denied them higher education and positions in government. 2. Hutu resentment of the Tutsi bubbled to the surface in the form of social revolution by the 1950s. Hutus, forming the majority of the population, won pre-independence elections in 1961, fueling ethnic tensions. When Rwanda gained full independence the following year, the fallen Tutsi elite fled the country to escape the ethnic conflict and violence that accompanied the new Hutu-led government. 3. Rwanda fell into civil war in 1990 after Tutsis rebels formed the Rwandan Patriotic Front, RFP. The warring sides signed the Arusha Accords in 1993 to create a power-sharing government, but the mysterious assassination of Rwanda's president Juvenal Habyarimana and Brunei's president Cyprian Nataryamana, who were aboard an airplane that was shot down over Rwandan capital Kalagi on the night of April 6, 1994, triggered a full-scale genocide of the Tutsi population. So people still believe it was like an inside job, okay? So the whole thing, they want to at least try to keep the peace. Like even the people themselves during that time, the Tutsis and Hutus, they were starting to intermingle and interbreed. A lot of them want to live in peace, especially in the southern part of that nation. All right, I'll continue on here. Within an hour of the downing of the plane, the Presidential Guard, along with members of the Rwandan Armed Forces and Hutu militia groups, set up roadblocks in Kalagi to identify Tutsis, and even moderate Hutus were brutally slaughtering them with impunity. 5. The mass killing spread like wildfire from the capital to the rest of the landmark East African nation, with some 800,000 people killed during the next 3 months. By early July, the Tutsi-led RPF had taken control of much of the country, and more than 2 million people, almost all of them Hutus, fled Rwanda. After declaring victory, the RFP set up a coalition government with Pastor Bizimungu, a Hutu as president, and Paul Kagame, a Tutsi, as vice president and defense minister. Rwanda adopted a new constitution in 2003, which eliminated references to ethnicity and paved the way for new elections. Kagame was elected to a 10-term as president, currently 58 years old, and Rwandan leader will seek another 7 years in power in 2017 after the approval of constitutional changes that would effectively allow him to stay in office until 2034. And it was really interesting, too, believe it or not. They had some like gun laws, pretty harsh gun laws, which the tyrants took advantage of during that time. And I am going to add the JPFO chart, genocide chart, where I'm going to add it to the link as well. And if you go down, it tells you who they target and the dates. And it's the Rwanda government in 1994. They target mostly Tutsi people. 800,000 were slaughtered. The decree law number 12, which was enacted in 1979, and features overall gun control schemes. Register guns, owners, ammunition. Owners must justify need. Concealable guns illegal, and confiscation power. See, that's a domino effect. Which Code Pink, Moms Demand Action, and all these tyrannical, ungrateful, multi-corporate, national corporate funded entities don't support the right for self-defense. They want to know everything about you. See, they don't want to challenge a lot of us into it because they know the truth hurts. And that's why they're losing the gun control law, because this is just another prime example. There's many other here as well. I know I did put this chart on here on the past with the Armenian genocide as well. So definitely look into it more. And great video to check out. Innocence Betrayed is by the JPFO. Go jpfo.org. You can look it up yourself. It's a real fantastic documentary and a good book to get by what's the name, Pastor Hubbard. Look up the Holocaust in Rwanda. Christian ministry booklet. Doesn't matter to be a Christian, but it's good to read because they give you all the facts as well and extra goodies. Okay, so I'm gonna try to add those in there. If not, definitely look it up, and you'd be surprised how gun control and genocide and democide went hand in hand. And that's why those vultures, okay, which is dumbed down Debbie, Watson Schultz, and Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders and all the rest of the tyrannical clowns, even Republicans as well, don't get me wrong, don't want you to know. It's not out of paranoid or fear, my fellow brothers and sisters out there, but it's the intellectual knowledge, okay? It's knowledge that can beat these idiots. Plain and simple. We're just an example, okay, the United States. But other countries still have these pathetic laws, and they got to go out to put their hands up like they're peasants. So this is just a prime example. And that's why I always tell people in the past, you never trust the government because in Latin it means control of the mind. All right? That's all I'm going to say about it. Next one here came from Activist Post. Came out 3 days ago. It's by Casillo Kamarampi. It says here, DHS and AT&T collude with $39 million contract for emergency communications. Yes, my friends, your U.S. tax dollars at work. It says here, while it made very few headlines, it was recently reported that the Department of Homeland Security and Telecommunications Corporation, AT&T, are quietly working together toward a $39 million contract on which AT&T has already received $11.7 million. So AT&T is telling everyone, when you subscribe to us for your phone service, you are bending over. Okay, so this is intentionally obfuscated behind the bland, banging phrasing of emergency communication services. The end result of this type of contract will surely not be good for the common people. As reported by the executive bits, AT&T has received $11.7 million from the Defense Information Systems Agency to exercise a contract option to provide emergency communication services to the Department of Homeland Security. The new work supports the DHS Office of Emergency Communications Priority Telecommunications Service Program that intends to meet communications requirements for crisis, attack, recovery, and reconstitution missions. The Defense Department said Friday the award brings the total contract value to $39.5 million. DOD added. The contract option runs from April 1st to March 31st, 2017. The second of 9 option years. The base contract commenced August 1st, 2014. Simultaneously, the U.S. government has no problem supplying arms to nations like Saudi Arabia, who are killing vast numbers of civilians in ongoing aggressive actions against Yemen. They have no problem supplying arms to a nation that bombed a market and killed exclusively civilians a few weeks ago. Yet we're supposed to turn a blind eye to the rising corporate collusion between the military industrial complex and corporations like AT&T. Yeah, what would the Communication Workers of America have to say about that? Collusion is an appropriate word because the mainstream media has no interest in reporting this critically important news. It might as well be deep in the shadows of secrecy. With these facts in mind, corporations, in cooperation with the criminal government, must be seen as criminals as well. The truth is that this is a part of a largely overlooked, larger trend in the U.S. and the world. The military justice complex colluding with corporations like AT&T, Facebook, and Microsoft. A technocratic structure is emerging from behind the scenes. The question is, will we see the consequences coming? And this is actually from attribution with eraofwisdom.org, of course, Creative Commons. So it was republished with permission. Exactly. Remember, fascism 101, corporatism, road to technocracy. Hey, check out that movie Rollerball, the original one with James Caan. You can understand why a lot of us are pretty pissed off about it, including the TPP. Just an example, my friends, is in their technocratic language. And that's why I asked about the communication workers of America, because they the AT&T workers are represented by them. What are they saying about this? They should be calling them out because it affects them and their families also. It's completely nonsense, my friends, and the American taxpayer is on the tab. It's on their tab, the citizens tab. Okay, so this is why this is totally irrelevant and unacceptable. And if you have to use other cell phones or get encrypted ones, do it. Drive these bastards crazy. You can tell AT&T to stick it, because the truth of the matter is, my friends, they need you more you need them. Have that mindset, liberty mindset. Doesn't matter what your views are. All right. And finally, it came out from the Digital Journal a few days ago. I heard about the story. It's by Marcus Hundro on the technology. Gun that looks like an iPhone may be on the market soon. Senators object. The Minnesota the Minnesota gun making company Idea Conceal may soon release a new gun that looks like a cell phone, but some people, a U.S. senator among them, are nervous what might happen if such a gun hits the streets. United States Senator Charles Schumer, the Gino Democrat of New York, calls a proposed handgun a disaster waiting to happen, and is concerned about what criminals may do with such a weapon. He also worried police will be unable to tell if someone has pulled a gun or a phone on them. The gun will be a double-barreled, lightweight, .380 caliber two-shot weapon. It's like a Derringer, huh? Idea Concealed Weapons website says it will list at $395. Senator Schumer is calling on the Federal Department of Justice and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives to investigate, and is against the gun being marketed. Not surprisingly, the CEO of Idea Concealed, Kurt Kilgerberg, does not agree with Schumer, pointing out small weapons on the market and so are holsters to hide weapons in. The idea is going to cause some new big threat, and it's just not true, he said. Smartphone look-alike. The company website touts the handiness of a handgun that no one around you will actually know it's the gun. In in today's day and age, carrying a concealed pistol has become a necessity. But what if you didn't have it to conceal? The website reads. That's where the idea conceal comes. It continues. Smartphones are everywhere, so your new pistol will easily blend in with today's environment. The website also notes that those around the person carrying the gun may see it, but won't know it's capable of deadly force. In its locked position, it be virtually undetectable because it hides in plain sight, it says. Senator Schumer, however, isn't buying that and doesn't want the gun that looks like a phone to ever hit the streets. Just like toys that too much look like handguns should not be sold, he said. Handguns that look too much like toys should not be sold. The company hopes to have the gun available for purchase by summer. I must wonder, and actually, Charles Schumer himself and Dianne Feinstein and the rest of the clowns will have it first-hand experience in it, allegedly speaking. So this is going to be really interesting, my friends, and how this thing is used. I should take the initiative to check it out myself and see how it is. With like 380, like a two-shot caliber, it's like a Derringer. You think about it, double two-shot Derringer, I would say. But really check it out. There's a link for the website. Gotta make my own decision. And it's like everything else. When you're carrying even this particular gadget, you have to have a higher standard of responsibility and safety. That's what the key is, because what's going to be next? So it's going to be really interesting, my friends. I say I may have to get one. Hell, why not? I know some of the ladies will like that too because they love their cell phones. Some of the hot chicks out there I know, ladies are pro gun, they will really love to check it out. So something to really look into, my friends. But always be responsible with any firearms, weapons, tools, gadgets, etc. Because safety is everyone's responsibility, including the children. You gotta take the initiative on showing them who's boss. So we just gotta wait and see. Cause I know Charles Schumer's probably sweating bullets because he made so many enemies. That's why, to be very frank. Okay, so that's why I call him a China, which means a Jew a name only or Judaic name only, not being anti-Semitic by any means. Okay, so there you have it. All I gotta say is thanks for listening, and plus feel free to download and share throughout your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, recommendations, love letters, hate letters, or have any ideas, please feel free to send it. However, always use it with decorum. You can hit your input on Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, the Freedom Network, YouTube, and Scene.life. Or you can email me at lokiluck3@gmail.com. Before I sign off, I want to play a real cool song that came out a while back. I said 1990, I believe. Yeah, 1991. Band called Atheist. They're based out of Brandon. I think it's Brandon, Florida, or Tampa Bay area. This is like I would say the remnants of like late Roger Patterson's work on the lyrics and so forth. And a good colleague of mine I knew from the music scene for years, Tony Troy, was playing bass. Did a great job on it. So yeah, I'm gonna play it. Unquestionable Presence. It's about UFOs. So I know a lot of people. We have open minds. I like to play something really cool. So check it out. And once again, take a free time. Plus, always remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading the love, and may your guardian spirits be with you. Enjoy the song.